Investigating a case of a magician who lost his head, the agents find themselves entwined in a complex caper
that even Mike doesn't believe. From fake tattoos to false identities, is this even an X-File?
This is not happening. This is not happening.
That's a good question. I think we will be asking that question tonight.
I think it's perfect X-File. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh. Are you a fan of magic?
We flipped the roles for this episode.
We may have. Have.
We are going to talk about the Amazing Maleeni tonight on This Is Not Happening, another X-Files podcast. With me, Andrew, and as always, with my good friend Mike. Here we go. Doing the old podcast Reno again. How are you doing tonight, Mike?
Doing all right. Watching this episode, it has me remembering some old magician stuff from when I was a kid. Were you in the presence of a magician at all when you were a kid?
Not so much, but this did put me in mind to ask you the same question of, what were the magic acts you saw growing up? We might be had some dude come and do a magic show, but it didn't really resonate with me. I would say Penn and Teller, though.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are pretty much the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. No, my only real knowledge of one, I don't know his name, but it was definitely a kid's birthday party.
Bonzo the Clown. He could pull a thing out of his butt. It was very amazing.
No, he did something with little foam balls where he put one in my hand and he had me make a fist. Mm-hmm. And then when I opened it, like 5 flew out. Still don't know how he did that, but that's my only real experience.
My guess is it was a physical gag, like it had a thing that turned into 5, but that would be just a guess. Who knows?
Yeah.
You should find him. You should get him to tell you.
Yeah, I'm really okay with not knowing. But the Amazing Maleeni, now he's slightly better than that, in that he can turn his head all the way around.
Well, if you've got the right computers, it'll make it work.
Yes.
I mean,
maybe not even the right computers.
It's not the best CGI, but for the time.
I mean, it was interesting.
It would have been pretty good for the time, to be fair.
Absolutely.
Enough that you went, okay, nice. But I kind of wish they found a way to do a practical. I don't know how, but the CGI is not great.
Yeah. They could have built a stand-in body up to the neck and then just had him turn around behind it.
I mean, this is the episode that's all about Ricky Jay, and my understanding is they wanted him.
Right.
Frank Spotnitz wanted to write this kind of episode since season 2, and he had Ricky Jay in mind for this role, and the backup was David Blaine, but neither was available, so they actually, refused to do it until they could get him, and then they finally got him, and I do think he does make the episode. He's really good.
Oh, yeah.
This episode puts me in mind of The Prestige and other complicated magic heist movies. It's pretty complicated, but they do manage to get it into 42 minutes. And I think that is because Vince Gilligan is involved. He's so good at keeping things on track and
concise. Moving. Yeah, very much so. And I am eager to get into this one because I'm unusually interested in how you feel about it.
I think you need my validation now. That's all there is to
validation. Oh, that's possible.
Well, shall we pull a trick and start the discussion of the Amazing Maleeni? Are you ready, Mike?
Let's do it.
We open with a long shot of the Santa Monica Pier in Los Angeles, California. On the pier, the camera tracks by an old beaten-up van, blue and adorned with mystical graphics. Sitting in the back of the van is a short man in a black tuxedo, waiting. Soon enough, another man wearing a headset walks up and asks if the man, Mr. Maleeni, is ready to go on. and subtly mentions that Maleeni's fee is going to be $75 instead of the promised $125. But hey, the show must go on, right? Maleeni, undeterred, declares it will be his greatest show ever. Well, Maleeni starts the show with a slight crowd, including a very unimpressed man slurping a giant drink. Maleeni, educating as well as entertaining, goes into the history of the cups and balls trick, which is presented before him. 3 cups with a red ball resting upon each. As he drones on about the history, the unimpressed man barks for Maleeni to get on with it. Maleeni does, making each ball disappear with a wave of his wand, only to reappear under each of the cups. Maleeni makes a reference to a historical rivalry between the cups and balls originator, Bosco, and a French illusionist named Cronus. None of this is going to matter, so don't worry about it. After making a lame joke, Maleeni makes citrus appear in each of the cups to light applause. The heckler demands a new trick, something that isn't so old it's decrepit. Maleeni does, describing a feat where an Egyptian reattaches a recently severed head to a decapitated body. He then goes on to twist his head fully around on his neck, which only looks slightly goofy with CGI. The crowd applauds enthusiastically, and the heckler is marginally impressed. After the act, Maleeni leaves with Headset Man, who declares how impressed he was with the trick. Maleeni massages his neck, which obviously has had quite the workout. Getting back to the van, he gets inside. When Headset Man remembers he needs to pay Maleeni, so he dashes back to get his money. When he returns, Maleeni waits, sitting in the driver's seat, his eyes closed. He does not respond when Headset Man offers him his money. Headset Man nudges Maleeni's arm, and instead of responding, Maleeni's severed head falls to the ground at Headset Man's feet. Credits.
Oh my God.
Well.
So, wow.
I
Lost
know.
his head on that one.
I guess that's not very good.
No.
But what do you think of that opening, Mike?
It's all right. It's interesting. Kind of agree with the heckler. And I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the magician whose life has resorted to doing tricks on a pier in front of people who barely can get out of bed. So I don't know.
That van kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It is really a lonesome van. It kind of reminds me of the Mystery Machine from
A little bit.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot going on in there. We are setting the stage for the murder, or the death, I should say. We don't know it's a murder. But yeah, I'd say engaging is definitely something untrodden ground. They have not gone here before.
I would say that my first viewing of this, it felt like something was off. Not a pun, but
his head, Mike. His head was off.
Well, I was like, obviously, the trick or whatever did not slice his head cleanly off. So I don't know. It struck me as odd the first time, and it continues to do so, even though I know what's going on. But
right, okay.
What they were trying to get us to believe is that maybe somehow, some way, the trick did this to him. But
interesting. I hadn't gone there. I'm trying to remember how I felt at the time when I saw this. Did I think that he had been punished somehow? Yeah.
It's possible.
No, I guess I didn't form an opinion. I was ready to be entertained.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, we returned with a photo of the van, only to be pulled away to show the actual van at the crime scene. Mulder, in shirt sleeves, is on the scene, as is Scully, and the two give us the intro to their involvement here.
Neat trick, huh?
I can think of a neater one. How you convinced me to drop everything and get on the first plane to Los Angeles?
Come on, Scully. This isn't intriguing enough for you? A magician turns his head completely around 360 degrees to the delight of young and old alike, after which it plops unceremoniously onto the pier. See the picture?
Yeah, I saw the picture. And as for this amazing Maleeni turning his head all the way around, like you said, Mulder, neat trick.
But?
I'd guess this event was completely removed from the subsequent murder.
You think this was a murder?
Don't you? Mulder, his head was cut off.
Observe the nearly complete absence of blood. Observe the paucity of fingerprints as evidenced by the LAPD's liberal use of lycopodium powder.
Why are you talking like Tony Randall?
Know that the Amazing Maleeni was alive one moment and expired the next. Know also that no one saw his fleeing attacker nor heard the dying man's cries.
Mulder, I admit that I don't know how it happened, but I still say that it was a murder. So what's your theory?
A magic trick gone horribly wrong. One that claims the life.
Ooh, one that claims the lives of all who attempt it.
How dare you attempt it?
They are definitely having some fun with Mulder's delivery here. This will not be the first time that we have this kind of engagement.
No.
Well, the two review footage of the trick taken by a couple on their camcorder. The timeliness of their arrival suggests to me the duo must have been in the airport when this murder occurred and got a hot tip from, the lone gunman, and then got the fastest flight on record to get there. But anyway, Scully picks out the heckler and that his fingerprints might be available from a soda cup discarded by the guy. We haven't had travel shenanigans in a while, but I'm kind of on the fence about why they're here. And obviously how fast it allowed them to go from Washington to LA.
I mean, the chances of that van still being there, unless they were in the neighborhood, I don't know. That's
I kind of wish they had Mulder on vacation for this episode, because then it would.
They have to, because there's no way
that
he came from Washington D.C. to this spot in time to not only have the van and the crime scene still going on, but
the cop hands him the camcorder. It's like, what? Why isn't this bag intact and in a locker?
That and the garbage hasn't been taken out yet. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. -1 for the up, but otherwise enjoyable so far. I do like Mulder as the showman. They're definitely making a comment here, and as the writers, I'm fine with that. Well, we're going to cut to North Hollywood. In a divey bar, Mulder and Scully walk in to see a man, the heckler, setting up and practicing for a magic show. Scully identifies him as Mr. Labange and asks whether he was at the Santa Monica Pier yesterday morning. Labange, while practicing his card tricks with flair, admits he was there and he saw Maleeni's show, which sucked. Scully reveals Labange has a criminal record and they tracked him down via his fingerprints. Mulder asks what Labange has against Maleeni, and Labange breaks it down. Maleeni was not the guy's real name. He just appropriated it and did some bad tricks with it. When asked about the 360-degree head turn, Labange demonstrates a similar thing with his arm, which is not really the same thing, but looks pretty cool. Same. Labange goes on to do some more tricks and wax on with the grand, mysterious energies at work that can be dangerous to work with, but then mentions that Maleeni had some serious gambling debts, so maybe that's a thing. The agents decide they've gotten all they need from Labange, who decides to hand them back their identification badges as they leave in a marvelous example of pickpocketing. So what do you think of the character of Labange, who we're introduced to?
You know what? I don't like him. And I say that as the character. Like he's very smug. And I know he's written that way, and I understand he's playing a role for the greater story here. But man, just want to, you know what? You're arrested. You just pickpocketed 2 agents. You're done.
You're arrested because I don't like you.
You're arrested because you're too cocky. God damn it. No, but he does have a lot of flair with his demonstrations there, so it is pretty cool. I do like that he's doing tricks while he's entertaining their questions.
He's entertaining their questions. He's entertaining them. I think that they are really leaning into the Mozart / Salieri comparison here. I mean, he literally calls it out. But he is the peacock, seemingly has natural talent, whereas Maleeni is probably the Salieri. Although they don't really have the same relationship. They don't seem to have a rivalry. It seems at this point more that one has heard of the other.
Yeah.
anyway, they've made him cocky and we don't like him. That's all you need to know.
Absolutely.
Scully decides she's going to go do an autopsy on Maleeni. It's been a while since we've had autopsy Scully, so thank you for that. She's going to put to rest the issue once and for all. It's going to turn out that the head was slowly and painstakingly sawn off and then attached lightly to the body with spirit gum. Further, Maleeni died of advanced coronary disease over a month ago. There are signs of refrigeration. Mulder sums it up well. So basically, he died of a heart attack. Somebody crept up behind him, sawed his head off, and then glued it back on, all in the space of 30 seconds, which is a pretty great point of this episode that they have summarized the plot.
That would be amazing if they had done that.
Yeah, it would be a hell of a trick. Scully agrees that somebody performed yesterday, but maybe it wasn't this guy. We're going to cut back to Labange later that night, hitting a pool bar. He walks through past the tables and looking for someone, finds him. It's Sissy Alvarez, a mean-looking dude with tattoos, close-cropped hair, and generally a bad attitude. Labange reveals that the two did time together 8 years ago. Alvarez for bank robbery, but Alvarez doesn't remember this guy. When Labange reveals that he knows about the poker debt that the Amazing Maleeni, otherwise known as Herman Pinchbeck, owes to Alvarez, and further that Labange was the one that decapitated Pinchbeck, Alvarez tells him to get to the point before he and his goons stomp him to death. Labange offers that he's got an opportunity for Alvarez to make 10 times his money back if he'll help Labange to do some magic. Alvarez loses his patience, nodding to his guys to mess up Labange, but Labange stills them with a wave of his fingers, then proceeds to light his whole hand on fire and produce Alvarez's marker book in the fiery hand. Stunned, Labange has Alvarez's full attention. Cut to commercial. All right, finally a practical effect. This one actually works. They got the value out of their stuntman.
Absolutely. I like Alvarez.
He's great.
He's a good guy. I enjoy that he's no nonsense. Maybe I just like him in contrast to Labange.
It's all dirtbags all the way down. That's what we've got so far in this episode. But you've seen him before. You've seen that actor before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Classic villain.
Mm-hmm.
After the commercial, Mulder and Scully visit the Craddock Marine Bank in L.A. They're looking for Albert Pinchbeck. The duo is surprised to see Albert, identical to the Amazing Maleeni, sitting in a bank office, though wearing a cervical collar as he does his paperwork. The agents enter, introducing themselves and their reason for being here. Turns out Albert is Herman's next of kin and Herman's twin brother. Albert shoots down Mulder's opening salvo, that it was in fact Albert who performed at the Santa Monica Pier. Albert was in Mexico recently, and the collar is because he had a bad car accident there. We have a bit of exposition. In the 70s, the brothers performed together, and Albert demonstrates with a compelling card trick. However, Albert realized they'd never make it and stopped performing, and the two brothers became estranged. Mulder goes on to advance his theory. Herman died of a heart attack, and Albert decided to use the opportunity to create a trick so amazing as to be forever remembered in the annals of magic. An emotional Albert replies that he wishes that were true, slowly pulling back from his desk to reveal that he's lost his legs and he's in a wheelchair. It was a very bad car accident. Now there's a moment. There's a big music swell in that moment too, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel a little bad there.
Man, I wish I could shuffle cards this way.
Oh, the little teardrop of the cards fall from his hands into the deck.
If there is one thing I wish I could do in life, whether or not I'm not doing tricks, I don't care about that so much. I want to be able to shuffle cards like a madman. That's what I want. And I've never been able to do it. I can shuffle cards, but I can't.
Well, talk to me about how you shuffle them. Do you like take one half of the deck and sort of
I do the bridge. I do the bridge.
So you
do that. That's about
rattle
it.
them together, and then do you do the other thing where you like splay them back and into the whole thing, or?
Yeah, I cut them into two halves, and then I flip them together, and then I make the little bridge arc thing, and that's. But
you're well ahead of half the population. Most people can't do the second bridge part. Do you need to? You just need to practice, young man.
Maybe I'll hone it. You've inspired me.
I welcome our loyal listeners to chime in and buff up our man's confidence here so that he can continue to practice his journey of being a good shuffler.
The inspiration took 0.3 seconds of you saying, yeah, you just need to practice. I'm inspired. I'm going to get this done.
Cut to Mike putting his head on his pillow, slight smile on his face, saying, tomorrow's going to be a new day.
New day.
All right, the agents, chagrined, leave the bank, no closer to understanding why Maleeni has died and how he pulled off this trick. They decide they need to know more about Herman's motivations and figure they could enlist Labange's help to get to the bottom of it all. After some initial hesitation, Labange agrees, and the three have a look at Maleeni's van. Labange removes some of the supplies from the van and looks around.
So, Maleeni wasn't murdered.
It would seem not.
So someone impersonated him and his crappy act. It's impressive. I'd say the twin brother did it, but I don't think he's any better a magician than Maleeni was.
There's that. And he's got no legs.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, we're looking for a magician with the same height and build, a good makeup job, and the right wig. No one would know the difference.
Not even you, I guess.
I had a couple of Jello shots in me.
Yeah, how did this impersonator switch out the dead body?
With ease. You're gonna kick yourselves when I show you how he did this. It's so simple. Because magic is all about misdirection. Your impersonator simply made sure everyone was looking the other way when he pulled Maleeni's body from its secret hiding place underneath the floor.
It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X, our Patreon, patreon.com/Magus Media, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support.
And then he continues to pull up all the floorboards. And of course, there's no space. All we see is metal undercarriage. No space to hide a body in there. Labange in the end agrees that whoever did this, they're good. However, Mulder has found a clue. He sees a torn off piece of paper, pinchback 20K 1229.99. It's Alvarez's gambling marker, but why would it be here in Pinchbeck's van? Why, Mike? Why, in fact, would it be here?
Why indeed?
I mean, I'm not a bookie.
Okay.
I can confess that. In fact, I've never taken out a debt from a loan shark or a bookie or, a illicit gambling dude.
Me either.
But I have a feeling that little slip of paper, it's worth $20,000.
I would take that.
And I think that if Pinchbeck had it, he would be able to negate the debt. I mean, if Alvarez didn't have the piece of paper, isn't that the thing? Isn't that the instrument?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
I mean, I also have the feeling that Alvarez is Alvarez. And if he doesn't get his actual money, you probably feel entitled to actually getting it. Like, you may have the piece of paper, but I can still punch you until you give me $20,000.
Yes. I wouldn't say that it would be like a casino where you bring in a ticket that says you have this much money and now it's good.
Yes. It's not like a giant poker chip that's got 20K written on it. Yeah. Well, we get no answers as we cut back to the bank with Albert Pinchbeck closing up the bank vault and dealing with the armored car guys. As they're finishing up, Albert asks one of them what kind of gun he carries. Albert's been thinking of getting one since his car accident because, Mike, one is related to the other, I think. Or at least that's what the scene is having us believe. It's like, since I had my car accident, I've been thinking about arming myself.
I understand your issue with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
will give it some leash here and say that, okay, now that you don't have any legs, you might feel a little less able to defend yourself.
I think he is leaning heavily into the sympathy that he's able to elicit. They do make a point of saying that. So that was where I'm going to give this one a little bit of rope. But otherwise, I mean, this whole setup is probably, to my mind, the weakest point in the episode. But I'm let it run because I like Ricky Jay.
Yeah.
So because this is America in the early aughts, the guard pulls it out and lets Albert handle it. Though with a nod to gun safety, he does unload it before he does so. But he also hands over the magazine. So if Albert was a crazy MF, he would now
just load it.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Bloom Bloom. Albert comments how surprisingly heavy it is, and we have a delightful moment where the guard offers to take him shooting. Oh, America and you and your guns.
What a sweet man.
It's a bonding experience here. This is how men bond. As Pinchbeck returns to his office, he's visited by an angry non-customer, Sissy Alvarez, who has come to collect his outstanding $20,000 from Herman, while also offering us a close-up of Alvarez's hand tattoo, an obvious cutaway so we can connect the dots later. Alvarez threatens that Herman will pay, owing that he knows where Pinchbeck lives. Across town, we see the armored cars driving along. The two guards hear a noise in the back, calling it a rear diff. I think maybe that's the rear diff?
Rear differential.
I know it's differential, but I just like that they made their own shorthand. Like, I think that's the diff again.
I've never heard it shortened, but
I have also never heard it called that way. But I like that the writers are like, yeah, these two guys know cars. You think that's the diff?
Diff.
Could be the diff.
The diff.
Yeah. The driver calls it in. The elder guard who offered his gun for Albert Pinchbeck to manhandle, he opens up the back, revealing a body covered by money bags. Guard draws his gun, ordering the man to stand up and show him his hands. The intruder complies, holding up his tattoo-covered hands. The camera taking an extra long moment so that everybody can see that there. The guard orders him to get out, but the intruder reaches quick for something, and the guard fires 4 shots in response, then runs for cover. Then the two guards reconnect and go to investigate the body, but they're stunned to see that the back is empty, but for the money bags. Across the street, we see Labange take off his mask and watch the scene as he slowly cleans his hand of the painted-on tattoos while smiling menacingly for 18 minutes as we fade out into commercial. Right.
Yeah. Padded out smile.
Yeah.
You know what? I think this is where the episode loses me. I want to make it clear that the episode's fun. It's fine. It's supposed to be goofy. There's just a lot happening that will never get explained, right?
Well, absolutely.
So I have an issue, and I don't need everything hand-fed to me or spoon-fed, but they're drawing attention to the magic of it all and sleight of hand and visual gags and things like that. It has to, at a point, become realistic, right? So him escaping the van, number one, and getting across the street without being seen is almost impossible. And then he's just going to stand there in plain view and take off his tattoos with a little scrub brush and smile at them as they're right there. It's like
it's interesting.
The least they could have done is had him be on their side of the road and fucking, be down some dark alley or something.
Yeah. We did not need to have them so closely in proximity to one another. Like, he's very much in peril by being there because...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My last complaint is that he's actually cleaning off the tattoos. It's like...
This is what you're doing here?
Don't go somewhere secluded and do this.
Yeah.
Do it in front of everyone and risk getting caught just because you have a crooked smile and you're trying to prove a point to yourself. I don't know.
Mike, I think you are entering Andrew territory where
I am.
There are just one too many things adding on to a stack of, wait a second, that have sort of tumbled the stack enough that you're going, this episode is losing me. Not because it's not realistic. I mean, it's obviously taking some liberties, but
there are parts that are realistic.
Yeah.
But I feel like,
I don't need it to be, I don't need to be spoon-fed. I don't need to be super realistic, but I have always contended I need it to give me enough that I can draw conclusions. You know, you don't need to tell me how it happened, but you need to give me enough that I can reasonably make my own narrative if it's really light on connections. Yeah. Or let me get there with what you provided me. I mean, that's a fun little game that we as viewers play.
What they could have done to make that scene better, just don't show him at all after that. Have him be, you know, he's got his hands up, you see the tattoos. It makes the viewer go, huh, what's that about? And then until it's revealed at the end, you're like, oh, so it was him. And we can piece together that he has marker on his fucking hands. We don't need it spelled out and see him cleaning it to know that he faked a tattoo or something.
I think the whole scene is confusing and it doesn't need to be there. I mean, I get that it's there because it's some of the only action we have in the episode. It's hard not to have this scene because it is, you know, there's gunfire, there's actual drama going on. But a simpler method to implicate Sissy Alvarez is to leave his fingerprints in the crime scene.
Right.
You know, in the actual theft of the money. Like, this redirect serves no valuable purpose other than to raise the alarm of the bank. Like, I would imagine that any reasonable bank after this happened would stow less money in its vault for a time. You know, there's nothing useful that's done as a result. You know, they'd increase security for a few weeks. So I think it only serves the story. I don't think as a plot device to help our antagonists. I don't think it does anything useful. So I question why they do it at all. But you know what? It's entertaining. I give it that. Are you frozen and I can't see you moving?
No. I'm here. I was listening to you. We are good. I was so still.
You were literally still. I thought maybe your video had frozen. Okay, well, I'm going to keep on going.
Well, now I'm just going to try and trick you out the rest of the episode.
Nice. I'll do it too. I'll just stop and like mid thing. And you'll be like, Andrew, are you still there? All right. We're going to cut to an evidence bag being thrown onto a pool table. As Sissy Alvarez is lining up a shot, Scully asks him to confirm that this is his handwriting on the note in the bag. Alvarez doesn't confirm it's his, but he does confirm he was in a friendly poker game with Pinchbeck and that Pinchbeck owes him money. Further, why would he kill Pinchbeck? If he did, that does not get him his money. And despite being a professional magician, Pinchbeck couldn't play worth a damn. So all valid points. I mean, I know that the episode wants to paint Alvarez as the bad guy because he's a bad guy, but there's no compelling reason for him to kill Pinchbeck.
Right.
And the facts don't line up either. He probably wasn't at the pier. There are easy ways to show that he wasn't at the pier, but you know, they're crossing T's and dotting I's. And we like it when the FBI people do FBI things, so this isn't bad. Got anything you want to add about this little scene, or are we going to move on to my next clip?
Well, I think you answered my issues with it. I don't think I take that back. I don't have issues with it. I think it is that thing where, okay, why would a loan shark kill the person who owns the money? So it's that simple. And I understand the episode is just leading us down that path so we can cross that off because we're probably all thinking it.
Exactly. I got to figure it out. Well, outside, Mulder wonders why Maleeni wasn't a very good card player.
Manipulating cards.
Maybe he wasn't so adept. LeBon certainly doesn't have a high opinion of his skills.
There's another possibility. Behold, an ordinary household quarter. I'm going to take the quarter from my right hand and place it into my left hand. Where is it?
It's in your right hand.
No.
It's not bad.
Yeah, blow your nose, Scully.
Mulder.
Blow your nose. Come on, blow.
Chew.
Ta-da! Look at that.
Amazing.
The great Maleeni.
And what's the point?
It's misdirection. It's the heart of magic. Just like LeBon said, I made you look in one direction, the quarter went in the other.
And that's what you think's happening in this case?
I think we're being led around by our noses.
By whom? Maleeni's already dead.
Certainly would appear so, but then again, you thought the quarter was in the right hand.
Meanwhile, as the agents drive off, we see Labange at a phone booth. He calls 911, reporting a man with a gun threatening to kill someone. He walks off, leaving the phone hanging. Back inside the pool hall, we see Alvarez checking his marker book. Indeed, his marker for pinchbeck is gone. Labange walks in. Alvarez angrily declares that Labange has tried to frame him and advances on him menacingly. Labange pulls a gun. It's the same prop gun that we had in the back of Maleeni's van, the one that shoots a flag that says bang.
Mm-hmm.
He stops Alvarez and his goons in their tracks, giving him the opportunity to run away. However, outside, the cops pull up, pulling their guns on Labange and forcing him to stop, cuffing him. Labange drops his gun. It pops a bang flag as it hits the ground. From the pool hall, Alvarez is grimly satisfied as the cops take Labange into custody. However, Labange wears his trademarked sinister grin as he's being led away. Everything seems to be going to plan. Which probably drives you crazy at this point.
I mean, no, I don't know.
You still on board?
I'm still on board enough. I think the complaints I've had with the episode aren't big enough to, to ruin the episode, I guess.
I think you just haven't seen enough Ricky Jay for a while. You don't like this guy, so he's bringing you down. But now we're about to have a big Ricky Jay scene, and you're going to be all happy again.
We are.
Meanwhile, Albert Pinchbeck works on his computer as our agents arrive again. Mulder wheels Pinchbeck out of the office into the conference room, dumping him out of his chair to Scully's surprise and potentially the end of Mulder's career. But, lucky for Mulder, Pinchbeck, Herman Pinchbeck, it would seem, actually does have legs. They've just been tucked up underneath him. Later, Herman shuffles his deck of cards and explains what's happened. He owes a lot of money, and he's afraid for his life. He plays poker to supplement his income, and Alvarez runs a good game. He doesn't cheat because he wasn't raised that way, Scully. Scully wonders what any of this has to do with Albert being decapitated at the pier. Herman explains that he went to his brother for a loan, but Albert had already died of a heart attack. He froze Albert's body and told Albert's work buddies that he was going on vacation, then further had a horrible car accident to give himself time to pull off an identity switch. When Scully asks why the business of the magic trick, Herman agrees it was as Mulder described, to go out with such a shock, such a denouement, as would forever be remembered in the annals of magic.
Of history.
So, point of order.
Yes.
30 days this body's been
He's been lugging around his brother.
Yeah.
For 30 days.
I would like to point at the timeline for bad car accident, lost your legs in Mexico, and are now back at work, and they made you a ramp.
That's completely believable. I don't understand the issue.
I mean, this is a series where you can get shot by a shotgun and be up and running around within hours. So
Right.
So fast travel games are part of the zeitgeist of the world they've written here.
Yes, Jack has.
Did you say 3 weeks? 3 weeks between lost your legs and back to work?
Sure. I mean, really, he wanted to come back next day, but they forced him to take some time.
Listen, we got to build the ramp. Don't come back until we've built you the ramp.
That'll at least take us till Friday.
It's not going to be a great ramp, but we'll have it done for you. Well, Mulder decides that was Herman's last performance, handcuffing him. Mulder's going through Pinchbeck's office as the bank manager laments how they've been fooled. They actually built a ramp for this guy. Mulder is still wondering at a further motive for the deceit. Did Pinchbeck have keys to the vault or the ability to move money electronically? Manager tells him they all have keys, but, there's lots of access there. But he doesn't have possible access to the electronic transfers. Pinchbeck doesn't have security clearance for that. Mulder, as a Fed, can check the EFTs with his badge number and thumbprint, yada, yada, yada. Scully's already checked out, and we see her checking the logs. There was apparently an attempt on the armored car yesterday. The duo decide to hold on to Pinchbeck until they find out if he was involved in the attempted heist. Finally, it's night as Pinchbeck is checked into the North Hollywood station, put into a cell right next to LaBange. LaBange asks him how it went, to which Pinchbeck replies swimmingly. They're in on it, Mike.
What?
Cut to commercial.
Oh my God, they're working together and they hate each other.
You never saw it coming. I think
Or
I
did
maybe was starting to see it coming at this point. I don't know about
We
you.
probably.
Yeah. Coming back to the Craddock Marine Bank the next morning, 9:04 a.m., the vault's being opened by the manager for the two armored car guys. I got to imagine that armored car guy number one should be taking a break. He discharged his weapon on a dude who disappeared. Surely there's a few mental health days in there. Sure.
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
He shot him so hard he evaporated.
There's no evidence that anything bad happened here, so you're good to go, pal.
There's no blood. Everything's good. Here's the question.
Okay, go.
If LaBange absorbed those bullets, he would have had to have a flak jacket on, right?
Oh, but they were blanks, Mike.
Okay, you're right.
There's a moment in the recap where
I forget about that. That. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
I would what if that scene to be like, there is a lot of reliance on the idea that elder armored guard
stormtrooper.
Yeah. I mean, what if the other guy came around and started blasting? Right. That's the end of LaBange.
We were so close to pulling this off.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry.
So this part of the plan revolves around the other security officer not drawing his weapon. So
Yes.
we're just gonna play roulette with this.
Listen, you got a 50% chance you're going to be fine, LaBange. Just deal with it.
Those are great odds, especially in gambling.
Oh, yeah. It's practically 100%.
Pretty much.
Well, they open the vault, but they see an unwelcome sight. The vault has been cleared out. Later, our agents are on the scene, forensics guys going over the vault for prints and evidence. Scully gets off the phone, confirming that Pinchbeck is still in lockup. The manager shows them security footage. There wasn't any of the heist, as it was mysteriously blank for the 20 minutes it took. But from 2 days ago, we see footage of Sissy Alvarez arriving at the bank, complete with his hand tattoos, recognized by the armored car guard who is running the tape. It's enough for us to cut to Alvarez's pool hall as he's thrown into cuffs, while the cops and our heroes look around for the missing money. Alvarez complains loudly about his treatment, as the good guys do not find the money. But then Mulder sees a ceiling tile bending under some weight. Using a pool cue, he taps it, causing it to break and rain down money bags. Alvarez is shocked. And then he screams that he's been set up by the magician, not Maleeni, the little one, LaBange. Our agents put the pieces together. Maleeni and LaBange working together. We cut back to the lockup as Mulder and Scully arrived just as Pinchbeck and LaBange are being released. And we move, Mike, into the summation.
Last night, the Craddock Marine Bank was robbed of $1.8 million. This morning, that entire amount was found in the possession of Mr. Sissy Alvarez.
Wow. I told you he was bad news. Bravo to you. It was expeditious police work.
Well, thank you. It was, wasn't it? It's only that Alvarez was so obviously guilty. A convicted bank robber caught red-handed, witness trying to rob an armored car just 2 days earlier.
He'll need a good lawyer.
Yeah, he's up a creek.
Yeah.
Just like you two want him.
I don't quite see where you're headed with this.
I have no evidence, but I have a theory, Mr. Maleeni, and I'll tell you how it goes. I think that your twin brother, Albert, died of a heart attack, at which point you and your young protege saw a golden opportunity.
My protege? I hate this guy's guts.
That's what you wanted us to think.
You wanted revenge against the man who made your life in prison a living hell.
I did time with you about 8 years ago.
Alvarez. You and he were on the same cell block 8 years ago.
It was a setup from the start. You played poker with him and you made sure that you lost big.
Which gave LaBange an in with Alvarez once everybody thought you were dead.
LaBange planted Alvarez's marker in Maleeni's van and made sure we found it. And then you used Alvarez's greed in order to ensnare him and then orchestrated the attempted bank robbery in order to implicate him.
Yeah, that was you in the armored car, disguised as Alvarez. Somehow Mr. Pinchbeck got a hold of the guard's gun and switched the clip. The guard didn't know it, but he was firing blanks.
And then last night, the two of you robbed the bank and planted the money at Alvarez's place.
While LaBonge suggests they have a great alibi, being in police custody, Scully suggests that with their abilities of sleight of hand and escapology, it would probably not be difficult for the two of them to escape custody, perform the bank heist, plant the stolen money on Alvarez, and then return to custody before breakfast in the morning. Something which Pinchbeck and LaBonge don't explicitly deny. But since they have no evidence, the two go free. However, Mulder suggests that there was a final act to the show. Why so elaborate a setup? The trick was actually about EFTs. Pinchbeck didn't have the authority to do them, but with Mulder's badge number and thumbprint, he could pull it off. Finally, they wonder how Pinchbeck was able to perform the amazing head rotation, which Scully explains, showing off how she's able to turn her arm around on the floor, similar to what LaBonge was able to do, but of course, it doesn't explain anything. It's an unsatisfying ending. Chuckle, chuckle. It's the end of the episode. Mike, take it away from here.
Well, that was an unceremonious exit to this episode. Okay, so the episode's fun. It's fine. I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. The big hang up for me is this is not an X-File.
Yeah. Well,
the biggest
trying to
thing.
Be, but...
Well, the biggest thing about this episode is the head turn.
Yes.
And they just kind of wave it away like, fuck it. Forget it.
Yep.
Which is fine. You know, they've done that before, but I feel like there's a little bit more weight to other episodes where this one's just like, we're going to do something so unbelievable that it's never going to go explained. And, you know, whatever. Because it's a goofy episode, we just have to accept it. But I do enjoy the episode. I just hate the ham-fistedness of it. And like I explained in the armored car scene, it's just too much. They're trying to do too much. The escape is dumb. The let's stand there in plain view of the people who are looking for me is dumb. Give your bad guy a reason to not play to the audience. Okay. So obviously that's all that scene is they're spelling it out for us. And I just don't feel like we need that. And it's almost offensive at how blatant it is, but I don't know. It's a fine episode. I don't typically come back to this one.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's not an X-File. I think the reason they don't try and explain the trick is because they are, in the writing, they're honoring the magician's credo of you don't explain the trick.
Right, and that's fine. But the other side of that is if they do explain it, then the audience goes, so you're this guy who can do all this crazy shit. Why aren't you rich somewhere in Vegas? Or, you know, why are you wasting your time with something like this instead of...
Well, they do try and explain that, though, with Pinchbeck saying, you know, I wasn't raised that way. I mean, it's a cop-out of an answer because what he's really doing is not explaining the real reason why, which is this is all a revenge plot against Alvarez, who was, I mean, clearly the two of them don't hate each other, LaBonge and Pinchbeck, because this whole plan is LaBonge's plan to get revenge on Alvarez for his treatment in prison. But yeah, it is certainly not an X-File in the conventional sense, but they have done non-X-File X-Files before. I think the problem with it is the over-engineering of the episode to make it an enigma that gets solved by the agents in the end. I would say it's an elaborate episode, showing off the principal thing of magic, the misdirection. And it's a great caper compressed into 42 minutes. And that's a testament to, I think, Vince Gilligan and his effect on the writing. If you tease out the pieces, it does not hold together well. How did the agents get there so quickly after the murder? How did Pinchbeck know the FBI would respond to the crime? How could LaBonge know that one agent who had this magazine switched by Pinchbeck would be the one to investigate, not the other? They're all valid questions, but if you just gag the little voice in your head that nags at you and simply watch the magic show with childlike amusement, then it's a fine episode, and you'll probably forget it in due course. Oh, Mike. It is also worth remembering that just a short time ago, Scully brutally killed an escaped child rapist who imprisoned her and tried to kill her for the second time in 5 years, and it looks like she's gotten over it just fine.
She's doing great. Doing great. In fact, that's why they decided to come to the pier to have a nice carnival day. Maybe they were already in LA
on this
on vacation. They were on vacation, taking a load off, and she was dropping everything as in she was going to do something she wanted to do. She didn't say work.
Yes. No, that's true. That's true. I mean, she was definitely off doing some therapy, or a little yoga retreat or something.
She was off. She was talking to her superiors and hiding evidence as to, I just murdered someone.
The cover-up continues. Well, I don't need to say anything more about this. I don't know if you've got anything else you want to tear a strip off of, but I think I'm done.
And I don't mean to tear a strip off of it. I think it's just so much of the plot requires everything to go perfect.
Exactly.
Because it's like, if one thing goes wrong, this whole plan falls apart. And, typically they'll say that with some grand movie or something, or fucking Ocean's 11. But
a great example. Yeah.
This is not Ocean's 11.
Trying to pull parts of it, though.
Yeah. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's just like, one thing goes off script and they're fucked. The whole thing was for nothing. So,
But there were some great tricks. Who doesn't like a little magic show?
I'm okay with magicians. I'm watching How I Met Your Mother again, and Barney does the flash pan thing with his hand quite frequently, but it's all right.
Okay, it's exactly the same thing. In fact,
it's exactly the same thing. Michael Scott in The Office, he does magic
every once in a while. Just throw in a little magic. It'll improve your network ratings.
It will.
All right. Well, I think we're done here. Mike, as is our custom, I shall give you the final word for the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't carry around dead siblings. It's really just disgusting. And unless you've got a caper that you're planning, it's really just stinky. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at tinhxfilepod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.